What's going on, friends? Vanity V here. Happy Tuesday. The moment we've all been waiting for. We've all been waiting for this press conference in regard to this brawl, the melee, the fight, the outbreak, whatever you want to call it, that happened this past weekend in Montgomery, Alabama. We've all seen the clips. We've all seen the crazy videos. We've all heard different things. Some of the people's names have leaked that were involved. You know, we've all speculated, but now we finally got the press conference so that we can get the tea in the news on what really happened and some of the background information. So I watched the press conference in its entirety, you guys, and I took some notes so that we can talk about it and we can get into the things of what really happened. I'm really happy that they did this press conference. They don't always do it, but this situation was so damn big. You had to give us some background. We needed to know what happened. So let's talk about it. The first thing I want to say to you guys is the older gentleman. I did not catch his name. They did say his name in the press conference, but the older gentleman that was attacked, that initially was attacked by those Caucasian thugs that beat him up for absolutely no reason. We found out today that he was the co-captain. This man was the co-captain. I was the whole time I'm thinking okay, well, maybe he just works for the company at the Riverwalk, you know, whatever. Maybe he just works there. He actually was a co-captain for one of the boats. I don't believe that it was for the boat that was actually docking, but he was a co-captain, which actually makes this all the worse because we know that he was just trying to rectify the situation and bring it to a close so that that Riverwalk boat could actually dock where these thugs were actually located, right? So we found out that he was a co-captain. We also found out that the actual captain of the bigger boat that was trying to dock, the thugs, we gonna call them thugs because that's what they are. The thugs that were in the way, we found out that the captain for about 40 minutes was on the PA system, y'all, pleading with these people to move. So that first interaction, we saw the older gentleman who was the co-captain get attacked. That was not the first time that they were asked to move their boat. We found out that the actual captain of the bigger boat, where we saw all the people videotaping, where that little Aquaman gentleman jumped into that water to come and assist that man that was getting beat up, that boat. The captain was on the PA hello, can y'all move y'all boat, please? Y'all are not authorized to be here. We found out that for 40 minutes, they were kind of circling and asking them to move, and that these idiots, not only did they attack that gentleman, they were yelling obscenities. Imagine that, yelling obscenities. They were making obscene hand gestures, so we know what that means. They was flipping the bird, doing whatever else that people do nowadays. Who knows what extra obscenities. I only know of flipping the bird, but that's probably what they were doing, cursing, yelling, and saying they weren't going to move. That was happening first, and then the gentleman that was attacked, then he went over there and asked him to move, and then they stole on him, jumped him, beat him up, and everything, okay? So that is what we learned. Another thing that we learned, and let me just say this. So at the press conference, really quickly, it was the mayor. He kind of opened up the press conference. He seemed a little nervous. He looks like a younger mayor. Maybe he's not used to this level of coverage, for his city. I'm sure he's not. I'm sure, as the mayor of Alabama, he doesn't want this type of coverage for his city. He seemed nervous, but he quickly passed the press conference on. It wasn't like a police chief. They didn't say, I don't believe his title was chief or captain or anything, but he was a member of the Montgomery Police Department. He passed it over, the baton to him, and this police officer, whatever his title or his role is kind of what he told us, the charges, the gentleman's names. We're going to get into all of that, you guys, okay? So first thing we find out is, thank God, we find out that none of the black people that were there are being charged. There are no warrants out for their arrest. Hallelujah, because they shouldn't be. Every single black person that was there was defending, this black man was defending other black people being attacked, with the exception of the man that hit that woman with the chair, okay? We can argue that back and forth whether you believe that he was warranted in doing that or not. Do I think it was wrong? Yeah. Do I understand it? Yes. We'll just leave it at that. So we, again, like I said, to wrap that part up, we found out that none of the black people that were involved are going to be charged. So that made me happy to hear that and find that out. But there are 3 warrants out for an arrest One of the gentlemen, they did not say which gentleman of the three. He's already turned himself in Selma, Alabama. I'm assuming, I'm not sure how close Selma and Montgomery, Alabama are. I guess some of you guys that live in Alabama can clue me into that. But it seems like most of the people live in Selma, Alabama, okay? So one of the gentlemen who is being charged has already turned himself in. Two of the gentlemen have not, okay? I know what you're probably thinking, the same thing as me. Why is there only 3 people that are being charged? There were way more than 3 people who were attacking him. I'm going to assume that more warrants are on the way. But as of today, when this press conference happened, there are 3 warrants out, okay? So let's talk about the charges, you guys. So, all 3 of the charges are assault in the 3rd degree. And so what assault in the 3rd degree means is that there is an assault with the intent to harm someone on another individual, but there were no weapons or no other, things. It's not like they hit him with a bat or, a frying pan or whatever. So that is what assault in the 3rd degree is, when you assault someone with the intent to harm them, but you're, pretty much like a fist fight, right? So those are the 3 charges, okay? We know the names of the 3 individuals. It is Richard Roberts. He has 2 warrants out for his arrest for 2 different charges. We have Alan Todd with 1 warrant, and then we have Zachary Shipman with 1 warrant. I'm going to assume, because there is, I forget the name of the gentleman. Shipman is the last name that owns that mini mart. I think it's called Vesslers in Selma. That person's last name is Shipman, so I'm assuming he's probably related to the Zachary person. So it might be his brother, his dad, I don't know. But Zachary Shipman is one of the 3 as well, who is wanted for the 3rd degree assault charges. They did say, however, although we only had 1 person who's already turned themselves in, at the time of the press conference, they did say that they'd been in touch with the other 2 individuals and that they were en route to turn themselves in. I'm hoping, in addition to these 3, that there are other warrants to come, because we saw with I'm assuming y'all both have 2 eyes like me. We saw it was way more than 3 people who were involved in attacking. And also, one of the individuals who was 16 years old, who actually worked at the Riverwalk, he was a white young man, he's 16, he was attacked. He got caught up in this melee, and I guess he's recovering now. But they're saying that they also attacked one of the workers that was 16, I believe, that was trying to break it up. 16-year-old boy, and they had no cut cards on who they were attacking. Older gentlemen, younger gentlemen, women, kids, babies, they didn't care. These thugs didn't care, okay? So we talked about the assailants who have the 3. We have the 3 individuals who have warrants out for their arrest. We talked about they are only being charged with assault in the 3rd degree. Now, what they also indicated at this press conference is they were trying to get, they're working on it now. They haven't been able to make it stick, but they were trying to get hate crime charges. And they also are trying to get charges for inciting a riot, which is very clear to me, but they were indicating that they are unable to pin those charges to these individuals. Why is that? I hate this, where one state you have certain laws that stick and then the other states you don't. Like, I need there's some uniformity around here. But how Alabama is not looking at this as inciting a riot, that is exactly what they did. You put everybody out there in a position to get hurt because of, if you are a person who loves humanity, you're not going to sit around and allow all these people who could very easily have killed this older gentleman, the captain at the river, the co-captain at the Riverwalk. Who's going to just sit around and let him get jumped? Nobody's going to do that. So how they're being able to evade being charged with inciting a riot, the hate crime thing, I can see how that might be a little harder to do, because you would have to prove that the reason why that they attacked him was because he was black, which I believe that is why they attacked him. But that's harder to prove. But they clearly incited a riot. So I'm hoping somehow, some way, I don't know, the governor steps in, somebody steps in to ensure that they get charged with that, because if I'm not mistaken, assault in the 3rd degree only has a maximum of 6 months in jail. And these thugs need to be in jail for at least a year to 2 to 3. That's my opinion. 6 months is not enough. It's just not enough, you guys. Let's talk about what else we found out. So we talked about the people, their names. We talked about the fact that they're trying to charge them with inciting a riot, potential hate crime. Let's see, did I miss anything? I just want to quickly touch on how people feel entitled. Can we talk about entitlement for a minute? All of this is because a certain group of people, we all know who they are, believe that they are entitled to whatever they want, however they want it, whichever way they want it. Okay? You can be an authoritative figure. It doesn't matter if you are black, particularly, or of another race in which they feel that are beneath them. You're not going to tell me to move my boat. I don't give a damn. If we see how many people were trying to get off, and you know those boat tours, it's like time. So it's kind of like, you have one from maybe 1 to 2. You maybe give a little space, to get everybody off, 15, 20 minutes, and then the next tour starts at 2:30. I mean, that's kind of how those boat tours go. They also said that on that boat, the particular boat where that young man jumped out of the water, we're gonna call him Aquaman, they said there was like 278 people on that boat waiting to get off because they were in that spot. How is that okay? I'm wondering, and I'm not going to even make excuses, but I'm assuming alcohol was involved, because any person of right mind, body, and soul is going to say, all right, like, we're not supposed to be here. This is not like, we're not authorized to have our boat docked here. We see that there's a boat full of hundreds of people that need to get off. Let's just move the boat. Like, I would think that if you were sober, you would say, okay, that's what we need to do. So I'm going to assume, to give them a smidge of grace, that liquor was involved to impair their judgment. But I'm also going to assume that this is like how they live their life. This is ingrained in them, like their mom, their dad, their grandmother, their great grandmother, going back and back and back, decades, instilled this kind of behavior in them and this entitlement into them. I'm going to assume that as well, because if I was on a boat, first of all, I would never do anything like that. But let's just say a group of me and 6 of my girls were on a boat, whatever, and we're in the wrong place. You ask me to move, I'm going to immediately because I don't want to get in trouble, okay? Like, I'm scared. I have a lot to lose. I'm not going to be out there acting a fool. And you tell me I need to move, I'm going to move. So that's why I think that superiority complex and that entitlement, that's what I'm talking about. Like, they feel so entitled, and they feel like, you're not going to tell me what to do. I'm going to tell you what to do. In essence, that's where the whole Karen-esque behavior also comes from. So I'm just hoping that, number one, they are charged at the highest level. I'm praying that at the very least, in addition to the assault in 3rd degree, I understand the laws, I guess. If you didn't use a knife, a gun, or whatever, there's certain levels of assault that you can charge them. But in addition to that, they need to be charged for inciting a riot. Like, it's like, come on. You cannot, that was insanity. The whole entire world is watching. So it's just not okay. And I'm just praying and praying and praying that they are charged. And the lesson needs to be learned to leave people alone and follow directions and follow the law and do what you're supposed to do and be a good person. That's the bottom line. So let me know what you guys think. Have you watched the press conference? What are your thoughts? Do you think that their charges are too harsh? Do you think that they're too easy? What do y'all think about this? Again, I'm just tired. As a black woman, I'm tired of being picked on, and I think I can safely speak for everybody who's a person of color. We're sick and tired of being bullied. We just want to be left alone. And in turn, we're going to leave you alone too. And I'm speaking generally for, sane black people and people of color. Like, I love all people. And it's sad, you know, maybe one day we'll get to a place where everybody's treated fairly, but I don't see it in my lifetime. But we just want to be left alone and stop feeling entitled. You're not entitled to anything. Nobody's entitled to anything unless you work for it. And there's still limitations with that. So I'm signing off. That's all I wanted to say. Let me know what you guys think about the press conference if you saw it. Please like, subscribe, share, all of those things. Vanity V here, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.